1 month of daycare. New York, $2,800. Buenos Aires, $570. Zurich, $3,200. Same infant. 3 receipts. The price of a child depends on the zip code, and that's where this case starts. Richer country, higher price. That theory lasts about 9 seconds. Buenos Aires breaks it. Zurich buries it. The invoice is not billing the daycare. It is judging something much larger. One line item is a law. Another is a currency. Manhattan first, Tuesday morning. A stroller, a price tag heavier than rent. For Brooklyn. Tuesday, 7:40 a.m. Rachel signs a ledger and hands over her daughter. The monthly invoice sits in her inbox already. $2,800. A Manhattan infant room. More than the family's rent. Rex cracks the receipt open. Most of the bill is labor and rent. Together, they make up roughly 80%, 2 costs no parent can negotiate with. And this is not even the real price. Rachel pays it anyway. The rent moves to the credit card. Something at home becomes a line item at the center. But the next city does something no one talks about. Watch the labor line. 1 caregiver, 3 infants. That's the law in New York. Sounds like safety, right? On paper, yes. In practice, it's arithmetic. 3 babies splitting 1 salary. That ratio is the invoice. The same law written to protect children quietly writes the price no parent can escape. Annualize the damage. $33,600 for 1 child, 1 year. That exceeds in-state tuition at the State University of New York. A 12-week-old costs more than a college sophomore. Zurich will pay more in dollars. Buenos Aires will pay a fraction. Manhattan pays a degree. Rachel, a hospital operations manager earning around $90,000 before tax. 30% of her take-home vanishes into 1 child's month. She works at a job that funds the building that watches her daughter while she funds the building. The paycheck is a loop. The loop is the point. Case 1. Filed. Manhattan. Childcare as private burden. But cross the equator and the same invoice becomes a riddle. In Buenos Aires, the receipt tells a stranger story. $570. A full month. 1 infant, 1 room, 1 capital city. Not a village. Buenos Aires, the same service Rachel bought for $2,800. Wait. Read that number again. Except that is not the number on the receipt. The receipt reads 515,000 pesos at the 2026 exchange rate. 515,000. The dollar figure is a translation. The peso figure is a wound. 1 bill, 2 languages. Only one tells the truth about what this costs a family. Sophia earns $450 a month. The daycare bill is higher than her entire salary. Her paycheck vanishes before it arrives. The center does not set this price. Inflation does. Argentina's inflation recently peaked above 200%. It now runs closer to 30%. It feels like menus, rent, wages, tuition all get rewritten every few months. 7% of the bill is an inflation buffer. A line item for surviving the economy itself. Crushing for Sophia, cheap for the dollar, the same invoice, 2 economies. But the real cost isn't on the paper. It's in what Sophia does next. Do the math. Rachel's Brooklyn bill is roughly 1/3 of her monthly take-home. Sophia's Buenos Aires bill is more than her whole paycheck. Cheaper in dollars, heavier in life. 2 receipts. 2 verdicts. The daycare owner is not profiting. She raises fees every 90 days just to keep the lights on. Sophia signs a new contract each quarter. The owner apologizes. The mother nods. Nobody here is winning. The peso is eating them both. one revision at a time. Case 2, filed under currency collapse, but the third receipt sits in a country that never collapses. Higher bill. Calmer hands. There. The price is not a crisis. It is a policy. Zurich. Elena opens a government envelope at her kitchen table. $3,256. One infant, 1 month. She scans for the subsidy line, the canton's contribution, the federal offset. This envelope shows no subsidy line. The invoice is complete. This is where the receipt starts to bleed. Now look at Switzerland versus Sweden. Sweden spends over 1.5% of GDP on early childhood. Switzerland spends about 1/5 of that, less than half the OECD average. Guess which one Elena lives in? 70% of her bill is labor. Elena's envelope shows no subsidy. Some do, many don't, depending on canton and income. Turns out wealth and policy aren't the same thing. Elena goes to 60%. Her colleague goes to 40%. The country calls it a choice. The daycare calls it Tuesday. The receipt calls it a career. 60% of Swiss mothers work part-time, among the highest rates in Western Europe. Not tradition, not preference, arithmetic. When full-time daycare costs roughly 40% of a median salary, the second parent calculates and retreats. The daycare bill does not just charge the family. It writes the family's schedule. 3 mothers, 3 currencies. Rachel pays in cash. Sophia pays in pesos and prays the number holds. Elena pays in dollars and loses 2 days of her career every week to pay the rest. Same child. 3 different things a country was willing to take. 3 philosophies. America prices the room. Argentina prices the peso. Switzerland prices the mother. Each system hides its cost somewhere different. 3 receipts, 3 prices, 3 different things a country was willing to lose. The cheapest bill was not cheap. The most expensive bill was not the most expensive. Read again. Filing the report. New York prices parenthood at $2,800 a month. No subsidy line, no adjustment for income. Buenos Aires prices its care against a currency that keeps rewriting itself. Zurich has the wealth to subsidize more. In practice, many families still carry the bill themselves. A daycare bill is a report card. The parents pay the tuition. The country receives the grade. Sign at the bottom, nobody ever does. One case remains open. Another receipt waits on the desk. Another city confesses. The investigation continues. Case closed.